Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Ladies Happy Hour. This is Gabriella with my co-host, ladies.
Hey, it's me,
We
Aleesha.
Christy, hey,
we have a new co-host today, Miss Christy. Great to meet you. Where are you coming in from?
I'm coming from Haiti and I'm so excited to be here. Mm.
Man, all the way from Haiti. Great to have you. Well, we usually just talk about some news of the day and pop culture. Aleesha, how about you start us off with anything? What's the latest tea? What have you heard?
Well, the latest tea. I really don't know the latest tea. Why do I have to start tonight, huh? You know me, I always know the tea. There's a lot going on, and actually, I'm gonna go off our normally scheduled topics tonight because I want to talk about this Rittenhouse, the Rittenhouse case. Right now, they're in deliberations, and from the testimony that I've seen in the prosecution and both sides, they're trying to say it was self-defense. And you know what I'd like to know, Gabriella? What do you think about this case?
Oh man. Okay, well, if I'm really going to be honest, I have not kept up with this case at all. I think I might have gotten it confused with another situation, but I just watched what I believe to be footage of Kyle Rittenhouse, and it seems to be someone was go. He had the gun. He was walking around in the video, and then someone chased after behind him. He got on the ground, and there was a little scuffle, and when someone was actually running away, that's when Kyle shot his gun off. And I guess he hit the person, and the person died. Did they die? I mean, they fell off on the in the video.
They Actually,
Um,
they did, and I'll put you up to speed with it. Kyle Rittenhouse, I believe it was a Black Lives Matter event that was happening, and I believe it's Wisconsin. Don't quote me on that. But his mother, he's a 17-year-old. His mother drove him there with I think it was an AR-15, some type of long semi-automatic weapon, I believe. And he went
okay.
to the event saying that he was going to defend the businesses. The one problem, none of the businesses asked him to show up to defend his their businesses. So we have no idea what this young guy was doing out there. And then like today I was watching the footage, and the person that he shot was on the ground and they were putting their hands out like, please don't shoot me, and they were trying to get away from him. He shot and killed two people, not one. And it's
What?
really sad because it made absolutely no sense. And for him to say it was self-defense is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know about you. I think we talked about this, I thought, last week. Did you see the footage of him trying to cry? I mean,
No, I
seriously,
did.
it was absolutely insane. This was his crime. I mean, he was trying really hard, not one tear dropped. And I thought to myself, I don't feel sorry for you, although you're underage, because young people like Tamir Rice, he got killed at 12 years old
Yeah.
playing with a toy gun, and you're out there with a real gun. And just to let you know, in this case, the cops showed up and drove right past him as
I
he
was
had
gonna.
this huge gun.
Yes, sorry to interrupt you. I was gonna ask about that. Is that the individual where it was the cops who were kind of like buddy with him, as if he kind of did a good thing, and almost as if he was one of them, quote unquote. I believe that
Absolutely.
was the Kyle Rittenhouse case as well. Man.
It was similar. Yes, it was similar to that, definitely. And they literally drove right past him, and he was standing there saying, "Hey, he knew he had shot somebody. He knew he shot two people,
Right.
and he said they drove right past me." And I remember watching this footage, and I'm like, "This has to be a joke. You're kidding me, right? This guy just killed two people." And at the time, we didn't know he killed them, but yes, they were buddy buddy pal pal. He literally had to wave them down himself, from what I saw, or someone had to say that guy over there shot someone. There's people running and everything. So right now, there are deliberations, and we'll find out in the next day or so whether he's going to be found guilty. I personally can't understand how anyone can find him not guilty. I mean, his mother should be charged as well because she assisted a
I
minor in a crime.
I would not be surprised if he was handed a not guilty verdict, which would be really unfortunate because what was his motive? It's so easy to say, I went there to defend, but just as you said, no one asked him to do that. And does that defending the business mean killing other protesters? Especially, I mean, who gave you a license and a right to kill? So it's definitely unfortunate because, just based off history and what we've seen, the odds of him getting a guilty versus a non-guilty verdict are, a slim. Like, he's obviously not obviously, but the odds are that he is going to be served that non-guilty verdict, which isn't fair, which we all see, of course, but it's really unfortunate due to, because of the families, the killings the deaths that they're dealing with now, and of course for all the other participants in the rally as well. Like, no one went there with the motive of a murder happening. So it's sad because it seems like he did go there with that motive, and that's not being considered.
Well, one really interesting point was he was defending businesses, but his parents don't own a business. So why did you come from a whole nother city to defend businesses? And why are you saying you were threatened when you had the gun and the guy on the ground that got killed, he had nothing in his hands whatsoever, and he has a right to defend himself. So the other thing I found really strange about this whole situation, this whole case, they've already decided to activate the national, I think it's the National Guard, before the verdict has been read. Now, when have we ever seen that happen? It doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, you're going to protect the same kid that killed two people, but you're going to activate the National Guard because you think people are going to react badly. Maybe they know something we don't know.
I feel like, everything is definitely a tactic as well. I mean, the Black Lives Matter is always having to have the National Guard and the police line up for them, as if we don't ever do anything peaceful. So it's definitely, I feel like, such a stigma to always have, the National Guard, military, police, and have them all come out full force to monitor Black Lives Matter rallies and marches. And I just feel like they just do that so that, the well, not paradigm, but the same perspective will continue to go forward. And that's that, these rallies are always violent, these rallies are meant for harm, and these rallies aren't helping anyone, when really that's not true. That's just how it's always portrayed in the media, because we're always scrutinized really for what? The color of our skin. And that's why we're always having military and guards on us, and pepper sprayed and hosed down and all the guns on us, when we're here to be peaceful. So it's just, I feel like it's all tactical, and I just feel like there's always going to be something so that the hate and division can continue. Like, when are we ever going to try to not illuminate that? So,
well, my question is, where was the National Guard when they stormed the Capitol?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Like, where was the National Guard when there was true violence happening, not just against, a group of people, but against our country? This is the capital of our country, of the United States. And where were the people who are meant to defend us? Nowhere. They're letting it happen for all we know, so that is exactly my point right there.
And what's crazy in that situation, one of the women that stormed the Capitol, she went to the judge and asked him if she could go on vacation because she had already pre-planned the vacation, and they let her go.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were going to talk about the lady that said that she wasn't going to get in trouble, but she got arrested. Oh my goodness.
No, they let her go. And another really funny story about the storming of the Capitol. There was a little girl. She was a teenager, and her parents would not allow her to go to a Black Lives Matter protest. Well, she looked on television, and guess what? She saw her parents storming the Capitol. So she called the FBI on her parents, and she actually put it on video, her arguing with her parents. And then she let them know, I called the FBI on you because you told me that when I wanted to go to the Black Lives Matter event to support my friends, you told me that it could be problems, trouble, and dangerous for me. And you're storming the Capitol and stealing from the US government. So that was pretty hilarious. It was pretty funny. And it's nice to see that the current generation, they stand together. Unfortunately, the older generation, I think they're a lost cause.
Which, makes me want to jump into, speaking of older generation, the critical race theory and all of that happening. Most recently, we had, I believe, a case in Wisconsin, and it wasn't so much just solely about critical race theory. It was about the social, emotional type of testing that was being done on the students, but parents were in such an uproar because they believed, there you go, it was about suicide awareness and suicide prevention. But parents were like, hey, like, you're teaching them about suicide. And we also feel like this is a segue into critical race theory, which parents, we don't want discussed because um, we don't want our kids to learn about race and differences and have liberal viewpoints or progressive viewpoints, and when they're in conservative towns. But what's your thoughts about critical race theory? And Christy, I want to hear from you, like, if Haiti, if there's any struggle about like race being taught, or what is the differences between a Caribbean country versus like the U.S. over here.
Yeah. Yes, on my country, there's a lot of going on right now, about kidnapping
Wow,
and
yeah.
people got killed like that. Yes, people be struggling like that, all that type of stuff. Yeah.
Man, so what is like is there like any reason or cause other than like human trafficking or even organ harvesting, which is actually a really huge problem in the States as well?
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah. So the condition is very bad because out there, because people be running from the house because it's about child. Like they come and they get in people's house to ask for money, and then if they don't have the amount of money, they ask. Um, so they're gonna get shot. So they have to run away the house. Yes, and then about the food like that. Um, there's no work. People not able to go work, and then the kids they're not able to go to school to get back to school. They have to run away of the house. Like, yeah, they can't even sleep because they got scared of the condition. Yeah,
Wow.
like it's very
I
bad.
want. I see. I wanted to know what could we do to help Haiti, the people of Haiti.
Me like I do think like you is 1880 my country need a big change because I wanna help like that's why I wanna put my career as singer like fashion just like type of singer like I have my favorite singer Rihanna so I get on the TV so yeah so now right now I'm on YouTube so I guess Rihanna gonna help me sing by that I'm like not love her like I'm just so obsessed like every time when I saw her I was like I wanna be like that like for real like not like it's something I wanna be like singer and then I always up one day that I meet her so I travel to California just yeah yeah
I love Rihanna too. I absolutely love Rihanna. I'd love to meet her too. So if you meet her, make sure you let her know Aleesha wants to meet her also.
but
Yes.
you meet her you not meet
No,
her you meet
no,
her
I've
right
never met her. When people are famous celebrities, we don't see them. They don't walk around on the streets where we can see them either. We're just regular people and living regular lives, and they live far, far away from us where we don't see them. Not often, anyway. Occasionally, people get a glimpse of them. I've seen Rihanna walking around in the streets of she was walking around in the streets of New York, but I only saw it on video. So unfortunately, I haven't been fortunate enough to see her. Maybe in Miami. I live in Florida, so in Florida, sometimes we do kind of catch celebrities walking around, but no Rihanna yet. I'll let you know though if I've seen her.
we are celebrities why I think we are celebrities why isn't it we celebrities
Say that once again, please.
I said if we not a celebrity like Rihanna like,
Like a movie, you said. I'm not
I
sure if
said
I
if we
understood
not
what
a
you said.
celebrity like Rihanna if we celebrities like
I'm not understanding what you're saying. I'm sorry. Did you catch what she
okay,
said, Gabriella?
It keeps cutting out.
Okay.
okay. I said
Um,
if we are working from Rihanna, if we used to see her as a celebrity,
the best way is
Oh,
to see her. Okay.
I don't know. If you keep calling,
if
I
you're
know.
working,
Do you guys hear me
I,
or something? Maybe my connection.
the
yeah.
connection body just a little bit. But you said if we were working for Rihanna.
Yes, like yeah.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I wish Rihanna would call me up today and say, "Hey, here's a job," and trust me, I tell my job goodbye, absolutely goodbye. But I'm going to go back on the question you had about the critical race theory. First of
Yeah.
all, I don't know if you realize, Gabriella, that the critical race theory, the state that you just mentioned, this is where the Kyle Rittenhouse case is going on in Wisconsin, I believe. I was watching earlier and I could have sworn they said that's also in Wisconsin. So it seems like Wisconsin has a really big racial issue because here we have parents that are fighting. You don't want your children to learn about race and racism. But what makes no sense to me is that minority children, because I'm not going to just say black children, I'm going to say minority children have to live racism every day of their lives. They cannot make it stop. If you want to take a look at anyone that's watching that wants to take a look at how racism affects people, look at the brown eye, blue eye experiment. I forgot the name of the lady that actually did this experiment, but what it does, it separates people by eye color and it lets them see what racism is like. And my favorite one was the one where they went into a classroom. It looked like a high school classroom, and
Right.
they separated the room by eye color. And I remember a scene where there was a young white girl who she put on the spot because this girl just really was, totally against it, very upset that the blue eyed people were being mistreated. And the instructor, who is a white woman, said to her, "You can't deal with this for 1 hour of your life. Imagine how these people feel. They can't take their color off. They can't make it stop. She said that basically your white tears are not valid here. We're not going to deal with it because if you can't deal with it for an hour, imagine if you were them, where they have to deal
Yeah.
with it every single day." And it was the most interesting thing. And she redid this experiment in England. Actually, she did it years prior when she was younger in England. And it was, people were ready to fight her. They were ready to fight each other. It was the craziest thing. When those who were in the position of power, their power was stripped away and they were treated in a different way. They didn't like that whole ism. So, and she did it with children as well. But I will say this critical race theory, a lot of, I haven't read really truly into it, but my feelings are these children of different races need to learn about one another and they need to understand what the other one goes through. And I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of them, this current generation, they're seeing it with their own eyes and they're standing together. You saw that with the Black Lives Matter, protests, etc. But it needs to be taught and they need to go back. And I say this all the time, they need to throw out the history books because the history books, in my eyes, are a bunch of lies. It's a bunch of lies
They
that were
are.
made up, and a lot of these wars that weren't won, et cetera. They need to go back and tell the truth and reshape everything because I think a lot of the anger would stop. And I was just making a comment just the other day about how when you look back through history, any strange thing that happened, like for instance, the Manson family that that went and killed a bunch of celebrities and very rich people, etc. They said they did it because they were trying to start a race war. And I cannot understand what is with this whole race war thing. Every time you look back at old things that have happened, murders, etc., you always hear them say, "Oh, we were trying to start a race war. We wanted them to think black people did it." And it's kind of like, but why? We're not trying to fight with you. Why are you always trying to make war with us? So I think critical race theory, teaching that, I think it will help these children understand where this started, how it affects people in their lives and their income and their families' legacy, how it affects just everything from A to Z. And it's very mentally challenging. It's stressful every day to wake up to realize that people are not going to see you for your intelligence first. They see this first. And I'm sorry, it makes no sense for people to only see color first when you are speaking of a minority. And the other thing I'm going to say is this, Christy, in this country, the one thing I can say here in the United States that people they look at your color, but you have an accent from Haiti, which is a beautiful accent, by the way. But, here in this country, they'll judge you because of your accent. And it makes no sense. They feel like if you weren't born and raised in the United States and you were not born white, that you must be ignorant. You have to always prove yourself in this country. And that's something we get tired of. And I think critical race theory would help that, because it would make people understand the ramifications of things that come out of your mouth and how you treat people. That it hurts us mentally, it hurts us physically. And, at times it really just hurts. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a hurtful thing. And for our children, for us to have to explain to them that people are just going to look at you based on your color first, or you have to be afraid of the police. They're not here to help us. They're here to kill us. So I don't understand why someone would not want to learn unless they're afraid to lose power.
Definitely. And I also really think that a part of it also has to do with white guilt. I mean, we haven't really even gone into the true depths of this nation's history when it comes to racism and segregation and the treatment of minorities, especially black, well, I mean all races, Japanese, Asian, black people, minorities, all of them. And I can only imagine if we were to really just dig into that history, especially from a young age, the white guilt and trauma that really I think parents would feel. I can't see a child necessarily taking on that guilt. I can see them maybe hating white people, like there was this one lady who said about her daughter, uh, when she learned about all the evil doings in the past that were done by her ancestors, potentially, you know. But I just say that's just part of the learning and growing experience. I mean, why is it fair that we can't learn about the trauma of our culture and ancestors because of your guilt of never having to learn about the trauma of your ancestors? So I definitely agree with everything that you're saying. The critical race theory would only shed light on the diversity that this world and especially our country is just growing and expanding more into. And I think that I was telling my mom that, it's only right and fair that along with representation and, higher ups, with television media and people who are just, in authoritative positions, I think that we also need to be teaching the cultural history of the people who make up the melting pot. And that is what America is. We're just a huge melting pot. And so I think it's only going to be helpful if we learn about one another's culture, learn about one another's history, and that includes the bad history that our country took part in as well. That's how you learn. You have to acknowledge bad so you can make a difference, If you don't, you're else.
I absolutely agree. You know what? Let's talk about some of these headlines that we've seen about some of the celebrities that are out here. It's been all types of crazy stuff going on, but the one that really, really, really touched my heart is Britney Spears is now free from her conservatorship. It's been 13 years. This girl, she's not even a girl. I'm sorry. This woman has been in bondage with her family. Like they had control of her money, control of her kids, everything. And I actually started watching the documentary about Britney Spears, her life and what's been happening. Okay. And you know what? Kevin Federline, I'm mad. This man waited until her family basically took over everything and then came for her money and her kids. Now she's paying this man millions to take care of her kids. And here he was a background dancer. And now, and I did speak on this last week, but the whole family all together, I'm so glad she's free. And I can't wait till she tells the true story of what went down, because she's coming for her mother and father first. And that sister of hers, she needs to body slam her too. Kaboom. Because apparently she's been doing some dirt. And you know what? Now Brittany is free. She can speak out. She's engaged, and she's talking about having a baby, which is a well, I'm not so sure about that, Brittany. But you know, hey, if she's able, sounds good to me. She wants a girl, so I hope her the best. I wish her the best, and I really hope she does have a baby and she can live her life in happiness. And Brittany, feel free to look me up. I need a job. Just kidding, just kidding. I have a job. You love Britney Spears?
Yes, I love her.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, she's free now, and the thing is, she likes to post a lot on Instagram. She loves to dance, and she had said she quit the music industry, but now she said she's going to go back in the studio. So I'm a little excited. I've never seen her in concert, but I think this time around, I think this will be something special. So I'd like to go see her in concert. So Brittany, if you see this, feel free to send me some tickets because I'm sure they're going to be quite expensive.
Same too. I
Oh,
want to
yes.
fly too.
Right.
Wanna,
I mean, see Britney in concert too. I've always been a fan since I was younger. I just hope she's really free. To be free is free indeed. So I hope she can really be free for real, and just gain back that rightful control of her life. And that if even if she does need help and guidance, that she can get that right positive help and guidance that will lead her down the correct path of her wellness. So I
absolutely.
did, man, you brought up speaking up of today's news, that's been in the headlines. Now, do y'all have y'all been up to date or seen anything about the baby and Danny Lay, musical artist?
Yes. I saw the video and I watched it several times and I couldn't wait. I was hoping we would talk about this tonight because for many reasons. One, the baby has been in trouble, and I think the baby is so cute too. He's really cute. To me, he's a kid, but he's so cute. He has that beautiful white smile. But with that being said, you know, it's a catch-22 for these rappers, for these entertainers, these males out here because they're young, they're trying to have fun, and these girls are out here trying to have babies with them so they can collect a
Sure.
paycheck. And
Say
so
that.
it's say it for the people in the cheap seats. But yeah, so this young girl, it's kind of sad because she has a 3 month old baby. He was trying to kick her out. But the thing is, we don't really know why he said that. And see, the thing is, we're seeing a portion of what happened. He called the police and she said, "Why do you have the camera on me?" and all types of derogatory things. But he said, "I'm doing it for basically his own personal safety." It's sad that
Right.
he knows that in this country, number one, he's a black man. Number two, he's a rapper. And number three, they're going to always blame him. Now, I think it's wrong, definitely, to throw a woman out that has your child, your 3 month old child. But then it
Right.
depends on what happened before that camera turned on. Because if she was hitting him or doing anything that could cause him to react and him to go to, jail, prison, etc., he was protecting himself. But I also saw other videos where he told her flat out, "You're the side chick. You were always the side chick." And she's like, like in shock. But, that's a problem that I see. A lot of these young girls, they have stars in their eyes and they look to get with celebrities in order to get a bag, as they say, or to have their baby, to have a consistent bag because of this child. And what they don't realize is when you go after someone for their money, you're going to always pay the price for it. And when you pay the price for it, you never know what's going to happen behind the scenes. I mean, look at Fabulous. I don't know if you know the rapper Fabulous. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but his woman, I forgot what her name is, but her name is Emily, by the way. And Fabulous has beat her so bad he's
Mhm.
knocked her teeth out. He pulled a gun out on her family, etc. So with this Danny, I think her name is Danny Lee. I believe that's how you say her name.
There.
Can they not see the examples of what happens when you're a woman that comes to a man after his money? It never turns out well. And so, we'll see where this goes with the baby. I don't think he's wrong for turning that camera on and putting her out of the house. It just depends on the reasons. We don't know the whole story. So how can we come down on him? I think people just want to see him fall because of the situation that happened to him at I think that was Rolling Loud or whatever concert he was doing.
Right.
Everyone kind of wants to see him fall, but I want to hear more of the story because there's more to the story.
There's definitely always more to the story, but I feel like, the baby also has its own part. I feel like there's a difference between recording versus being on Instagram Live, showcasing to your millions upon millions of followers. And so to me, it's like he's trying to humiliate her. And then he has to throw out there that that's his side chick. I mean, what was the point? Like, what was the purpose of saying that other than to try to embarrass her? And I think that that's just really sad because you know, I for both of them, like you said, she also had words to exchange as well that weren't so kind after being, filmed against her consent. But it's crazy. It makes you think, like, pause, like, okay, wow, like y'all are doing this on Instagram Live, like we're on a TV show. What? How do y'all act, when there is no cameras or no TV screens around? Like, is this really how you guys treat each other? And I just really think it's so unfortunate for Danny Lay. Of course, grace and compassion be given and extended to her because at the end of the day, to both of them, they are human. And, sometimes we make silly mistakes. And right now, talking about Danny Lay going with a guy that we clearly everyone but us, all of our friends can see that's not the one. All of society can see that's not the one. But we, like you said, we have stars in our eyes, blinders in our eyes. So it's unfortunate that, it took this like massive embarrassment or humiliation, as I like to say, um, for her to be like, oh, hey, I was young and dumb and in love, but, I'm never going to do that again because I feel like for her whole pregnancy, you know, um, he hasn't really been that as loving as one would expect when you see him with like his oldest daughter, his little girl, and knowing that he also had a baby on the way and like a little girl now in the household. One would expect the baby to really completely act like this, kicking out his baby mother when she's 3 months pregnant. So it's really unfortunate. I hope that it wasn't any domestic violence, and that's why he felt the need to record himself. But mental abuse is real. Domestic violence against men is real. Against the woman is very real. And no one deserves to be in a relationship like that. And I wish that, and I hope that we could all see, like all like of society can see this as an example that of what not to do. I'll just leave it at that.
Exactly. Exactly. And I don't feel it was a relationship. I think it was a situationship. And see, people get that mixed up. They think, oh, because I'm sleeping with this person, they're flying me around, this and that. Babies happen sometimes, and oopses happen. But with that being said, these young rappers, these young guys that are in the industry, they need to watch their step. And unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunately, but I'm related to a rapper. And I see how these women throw themselves at entertainers. I also work in the entertainment business. And it doesn't seem
Yeah.
like the guys really do it, but the guys don't throw themselves at the women very often that I know of. But in reverse, these young men have women just jumping at them. They have the cougars coming. They have the young girls coming. And a lot of times these girls get in the situationship and they fall in love. I mean, look at the situation with that name that we're not going to mention this week, but it happens often. And speaking of these situationships, did you hear about Marilyn Manson and the fact that he had a soundproof clear box in his room that he would put his women in? He called it the naughty box or the bad box. He literally would take women, and it was a completely silent soundproof box where he was putting women into whenever they misbehaved. So this happens with the rockers. They kind of keep it hush hush. But I don't know. What do you think of that? That whole Marilyn Manson thing. We just talked about him finding the Lord, and now we
Potentially,
find out
still
potentially.
hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, I don't know what Marilyn Manson is into, but I mean, if you look at him, he appears to be into that whole dominatrix stuff and all that, and having submissives. So I would imagine, him having a soundproof thing to lock women inside of. That doesn't really sound too far fetched from, the image and brand that he's put out there. I guess the bigger question is, where did these women give consent to be locked in, this whole cage. I mean, that lifestyle, it gets crazy. So that's the real question. Was it consensual or not? And then if it that's when people can, decide to have an uproar or judgment or whatever they want to have about it.
Well, Mike, definitely with me working in the entertainment business, I've said this time and time again, these women out here need to beware of entertainers. Beware. And, I've had a person or two get angry at me because I made that statement. And I'm like, entertainers, athletes, run, run. Because a lot of times, because they have so much power, because they have so much access to any and everything they want, you're just a number. And you will always remember that whether you're the wife or not, you're still a number. It's just with the wife, it's cheaper to keep her.
Sheesh. And sometimes, people have their own arrangements. Think of like Jada and Will. Granted, Jada was her own person, her own star, her own brand and image, everything before Will. But I mean, in the sense of, it's cheaper to keep her. Like, as you said, sometimes you can just agree to have your own entanglements, and you can have your own situationships within your marriage or outside of your marriage. And so it's definitely, I say that really to say that, cheaper to keep her so the men can go out and do their thing. But hey, sometimes women, you can arrange to have your own situationship as well. And you don't always have to just take everything that's handed to you, you know?
Well, you won't necessarily have that as many problems if it's something that's consensual. But unfortunately, a lot of these cases with these young guys, they're too young to even think of that sort of thing. They just think, well, I'll have this one in this state. You've heard that song, I've got hoes in different area codes. It's one of those things where they're like, look, I don't have to worry about that. I'm famous, I'm rich, I have a private jet, etc. And it ends up costing them in the end because you go around and you make all these babies. I heard the baby has several children, and there's several other rappers out here and young men that have a lot of babies everywhere, and it leaves you in a bad situation. I mean, look, rapper DMX died. He has about 15 children, and there's another rapper that's with Floyd Mayweather's daughter, Yaya, who stabbed the other girl over him. She's facing prison time, and he has babies everywhere. So these young ladies, I don't understand the attraction. And you know what? I can't be that hard on them because I must say, as a young girl, I tried to date a rapper. That didn't turn out so well. So, yes, but I've learned. I mean, after being in the industry, let's move on to a different topic. The topic I wanted to talk about was Cardi B. Did you see the video of Cardi B? Actually, it was an article about Cardi B, and she got really angry about her hair. She was talking about how she grew her hair out and how she takes care of her hair. And someone made a comment that the only reason that she has long hair is because she's mixed race. And, of course, you're supposed to have long, beautiful, curly hair if you're mixed race. And she got on live and went off about it and said that has nothing to do with it. Any hair is beautiful hair, excuse me. Any hair is beautiful hair in her eyes. And she said that it's mixed, being a mixed race woman has nothing to do with anything, period.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
What do you think about? Yeah, okay. I agree too. I definitely think that, it's just so sad. I feel like this all just so much of that stems from childhood and childhood. I feel like so much of that, stems just from history and from the media and the representation in the media. And I believe that, a lot of people, Black people themselves, think that, we Black people can't have long hair. And it's like, that's not true. Like, Black people grow beautiful long hair. And, I think that also just goes to show that the hair movement, we're still growing and expanding, and we're still trying to learn to fall in love with our natural hair and the natural beauty of it, because people don't know for real. And, it's unfortunate because, you have people thinking that you can't reach something. I guess you could say a beauty standard, if you will, but I feel like you're limiting yourself in a way. Like, oh, I'm never gonna get long hair. Oh, I'm never gonna have beautiful hair because I wasn't born to have that, and that's not true. That is a lie from the pit of hell. And it's just like, I wish that people didn't, think that. I understand, I understand. But, I just hope that we can, like Cardi is doing, continue showing off our gorgeous, beautiful, natural hair to show others, like, hey, if I can grow my beautiful hair like this, you can too. And not just because you are black and you're only black, and not just because you're mixed, you'll get it like this. Just showcasing, hair is hair, and hair does grow however long or slow it takes, and it's all beautiful. Just learning how to fall in love with the natural gifts and beauty that God gave you. So I definitely just I commend Cardi for continuously sticking up and defending herself, because people stay coming at her saying that, she's not black enough, or she's not this, this, and that. And I like that, just her coming back and defending it does continue to raise that awareness. Like, you guys are a little ignorant in this thinking. Let me school you on what it really is. So I agree with her. Just, showcasing that all hair is beautiful and everything I said previously.
And a lot of people, they don't realize that Cardi is a Afro Latina. So she's definitely an Afro Latina, and they don't realize that. And I don't know if you know of, pardon me, I'm actually going to grab my cord, but there is a Afro Latina. Her name is Mara La Negra, and she was on what was it? Love and Hip. Was it Love and Hip Hop?
Love and Hip Hop Miami.
Yes, and she just announced that she's pregnant. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. I'm going to go off camera for a second, but I'm here. But
Okay.
she just announced she's pregnant, and that she's pregnant with twins.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, Ada. Yes. Oh my gosh. Wow. She got blessed 2 times over.
Absolutely.
Amado. Have you ever listened to her before, Christy?
Oh, no. I never heard about her.
Okay, well, she's just, another Afro Latina from Miami. I think her family might originally come from Cuba. Don't quote me on that though. But she just makes like some pop Latin music, and she's a really great artist too. So I'm excited. I mean, I wonder who her baby daddy is. I'm not gonna lie, if I want to be a little nosy, because I know she always spoke on having a 90-day rule.
She's,
What happened? What'd you say?
I said she knew and the world stuff. I said she knew.
Yeah, I was saying I wonder who her baby daddy is, because I know she always had this 90-day rule. So I didn't know that she was dating or anything, or even if she's not dating or anything. I'm just curious because I remember she was on the Real. She spoke on having a 90-day rule when dating. So 90 days before sex.
Well, the thing is with Amada, it's weird because I've been watching her for a while, and I don't know whether I've been watching old videos or not, but I do know at one time she was saying she was single. So I was super surprised, because I absolutely love Amada. And I think she's Dominican, by the way. And she used to, as a child, she's been on the Spanish network since she was a little girl. And, I really love her because she speaks out about what it's like to be an Afro Latina, that people, oh, yeah, you're a Latina, but not Latina enough. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, because Latina comes in white, Indian, black, in between, curly hair, straight hair, everything. And I like the fact that she's vocal about the racism that she's experienced. And I saw her on Sábado Gigante, which was a show I used to love to watch. And she said they always had problems trying to figure out where to put the one little black girl, her. So I must say, though, I would like to congratulate her on all the weight that she lost, but she's about to gain it back with those 2 babies. But it's okay, she can work it off. But she looks absolutely fabulous, and I just saw her gender reveal party, and it was absolutely wonderful. But I love her, and I love Cardi, and I love what they do for the community, definitely.
What's the gender of her babies?
She has 2 girls. I'm so happy. I can't wait to see what their names are going to be. I know they're going to be gorgeous. And I definitely want to find out who is the baby daddy. Like, what's been happening behind the scenes? She's been keeping us in suspense here. So I guess we'll wait on her baby and on Jeannie Mai's baby too. what's his name? Jeezy and Jeannie Mai. I can't wait to see their baby either
I,
and see what they're going to name that baby.
I love me some Gina Mai. I cannot wait either. I'm really excited. But isn't that just such
Yes.
like babies, babies, babies? Babies are blessings, and blessings are responsibilities, right? So,
Yes, they
but I
are.
like a pretty great place to come to a close with our wonderful ladies happy hour night. Catch us again next Tuesday where we hope to have some special guests to showcase a documentary of Surviving Pulse. Check out the website Surviving Pulse our documentary.com. You can ask Aleesha about that some more. Aleesha, if you want to share some news before we go.
Yes, actually, I'm the host of the Pulse Nightclub documentary. It's on pulsedocumentary.com and it's surviving after a mass tragedy. We are going to talk about the documentary and talk about the things that have happened to some of the people that are part of the documentary. We have victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting and their family members. And we're going to just kind of let you guys know a little bit more about the documentary that will be coming out soon. Right now, it's not out as of yet, but we have a network or two that's interested in our documentary. So we're hoping that they'll pick it up so the world can see, the information that we have to share. We did have our documentary appear in a festival, the Sunscreen Festival, and we've won 2 awards for it. So we're doing quite well, and we can't wait to share our story with you guys. But I am the narrator and the host of the documentary, so make sure you check me out. And also check me out on Instagram, AlleyOops2017 on Instagram, AlleyOops2017 on my Cash App. If you like what you saw tonight, feel free to send us a tip. And also Gabriella. Oh, and I'm also AlleyOops2017 on Patreon. And Gabriella, back to you.
Yes, I was just gonna say, Christy, did you have your socials that you want to share with everyone and a Patreon or Cash App account?
Yes, my Instagram is Akomesa Christy Black 27. It's Christy Black 27. And then yeah, my Snapchat. Wow, I don't have it. I don't have it on my head. Sorry. But I only have my Instagram.
And you know what I would like? Your name is Christy. I would like for you to say hello to your friends and family in Creole. Or can you?
My family.
Yes,
Bonjour.
friends or family.
Bonjour les
And
amis. Bonjour tout le monde. Bonsoir tout le monde. Bonjour tout le monde. I said in French first and then I said in Creole. Yeah.
oh yes, and say one last thing. Say long live Haiti.
Say what? Say it again.
Long live Haiti, or just for people to say celebrate Haiti or long live Haiti.
Oh, you want me to say something so people can say it about my country?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Whatever you'd
so
like to say.
I hope that everybody pray for the country to keep us safe. Um, and then support support easy, like yeah, and wish the best wishes. That. Yeah,
Okay, well, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, Haiti. I know you're recovering from the earthquake. You said.
Oh yes,
Hmm. Yeah. Well, definitely, it was great meeting you and speaking with you, Christy. I hope that you are here again next week when we have our interview, our hopeful interview for Surviving Pulse next week and the following November 23rd and 30th. I hope you guys get to stay tuned for that. And thanks for meeting. I am Gabriella. You can check on me out on Instagram at It's Gabriella's Time. Thanks for dealing with my dry eye. You guys see me crying all the time.
Yes.
I'm strong. I can't help it. But catch me on Instagram and
okay.
Patreon at Gabriella's Time, and we'll be here today for some more ladies' night. Have a great night, ladies.
And I have something to say before we go.
So,
Make sure you like,
thank you
share,
so
and
much.
subscribe. Make sure you like, share,
And
and
thank
subscribe. Hit
you.
the thumbs up button, and also hit the notification button so that you can catch up with us and see what we're up to next here on Ladies Happy Hour.
Till next time.
I'm gonna. I'm on my other phone, so I will do it. I will subscribe.